Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good whatever time of day it may be for you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the Layback Gamer, and we are back with a bit of a different video. Someone had requested this, and it was also something I've been working on for a little bit, but things pop up and get in the way. But finally, I've got a mod list for all the mods I'm using in my Ascension to the Stars series. And, well, hopefully by the time you guys see this video, it will be up on Steam. Sorry, by Steam I mean YouTube. There'll be a link. Hopefully I can put a link for it in the description, or just type in Ascension to the Stars in the collections of the Rimworld Workshop, and you should be able to get there. Now, for the most part, the way I've got the mods in here are as I currently have them in, plus a few extras. You can see here there's Vanilla Weapons Expanded Bioferrite, and at the time of making the start of the series, this mod was not yet released. So I do occasionally add some mods to playlists as I go along. For the most part, I think this is finished unless something new comes out that I think would fit the theme a little bit. I'm going to use Bioferrite as an example because we're going to be focusing on part Anomaly for at least a while and explore it around. That's why this is in here. This is also a big just mod test. My series kind of end up being part series for viewing pleasures as well as mod testing for my end, so I can get some things that I got planned ready to go in the background. Then I know, okay, I should use this mod, don't use this mod. I can learn how to edit the mods myself or mod myself. I can then figure out, okay, I want to lock this behind research, or I want to take this research and maybe make it required for something else. That sort of stuff. So, yeah, that's kind of what this ends up serving. I cannot talk today, sorry. It serves as. Anyways, the way that you're seeing the mods right now and the way that's in the playlist is, again, the exact way that I have it in the game. That being said, though, I do want to try and optimize this a bit more. I'm sure some people who are expert modders or expert at just installing mods might be screaming at the screen going, why do you have this here? Why is this so early up? Why didn't you rearrange all this? And probably just banging their heads on a keyboard. So I am going to be reorganizing it. I'm not going to be making a video on an installation guide for that because it's pretty much self-explanatory. Subscribe to the mods here. And I don't know if there's a way to... This is my first time really playing around with the collections, so maybe somebody can inform me in the comments section, but if you just have these in your subscribed shop, that... My goodness, not in your subscribed mods list, and you follow this guide around, I think it should... Or, sorry, my brain is a little fried at the moment. If you have just these mods in your subscribed list, I'm hoping that it's easy to move it over, though if you do have to set that up, I will need to rejig it a little bit, maybe include maybe see if I can include a file to download, although I don't know if Steam will let you do that. I'm not even sure if it'll let me have the links in that I got planned. I guess I'll find out once this video is released, but yeah. Some of these we have yet to see in this series. Others I know I've added in, and it's eventually going to take place, but some of them have been in for a while, and we have yet to actually see/interact with. Take Alpha Mechs, for example. I think I made a point to point out the... what was it? Yeah, right here. Diverse Mechanoid War Procedure. And we haven't quite gotten to that just yet. Even though we've seen them in play. Or actually, this is another good example. Mechanoid Naval Warfare. I'm unsure if we're going to get to this If we don't, then it's going to be in another series and we'll take a look at it. But I wanted to put it in and maybe test it out, because it could be pretty interesting to see some mechanoid ships try to attack us. And a lot of the other stuff is just some extra races. Most of the stuff added in by the vanilla expanded is in here, plus well, some other mods that I think are quite stable. At least stable for a modded playthrough. And then some other things that feature that are specific to maybe this series or will only be in a couple other series, such as, scroll up here, where is it? Save Our Ships 2. Yep, the main one for this series, as well as Rimnauts. These mods like these aren't always going to be in, but when they are in, they're going to be pretty heavily focused. We're going to pretty heavily focus on them. And yeah, that's kind of all I can think of. I know I had somebody asking about, I think it was UI or GUI and textures. For textures, well, you got the vanilla textures expanded, but I think specifically they were more meant with the way that the terrain looks, because I really love the look of it. It's clean textures, as well as clean textures, less glare. I really love the clean textures mod. I think it's going to become anytime I play modded, it's going to be enabled. Or at least 99% of the time it's enabled. Sometimes, just to go back to classic Rimworld look, I might have it disabled, but for the most part it's going to have it enabled. Oh, and that also reminds me. For Save Our Ships, there's going to be you're gonna have to get this patch if you want to play with Helixian gas. You don't need to play with Helixian gas, but if you're going to play with it, you're gonna need this patch, because Save Our Ships and Helixian gas are incompatible with each other. However, if you get this patch, then it makes it'll make the two of them compatible, but when you put it into your mod list, it'll still say it's incompatible. So just be aware of that. The same is also the case for vanilla events expanded, if I have that in here. Oh, there's so many mods in here, it's hard to tell. Very big mod list, as you can tell. I don't think... Do we have it in here? From what I'm seeing, I might not have added it in. Maybe I did and completely forgot about it. That's backgrounds, but I don't know. If it is in here, and I'm 99% sure it is, but I just can't find it. The only thing that it's incompatible with is a couple of events. If you were to disable such events, I believe it's when the caravan and battle animals arrive on a map. If you happen to be in space, they'll arrive and then immediately die. So all you have to do for that, just disable the events that are conflicting. And I believe if you were to go directly into the mod page, I'm not going to do it for this. I'm not going to do it for this video, but you go on the page, you see the list of compatibilities. You can see exactly what exactly what mods are incompatible with it, as well as the reasoning why. So in the case of vanilla events, it's a couple of events. All you have to do, disable them when you're ready to head into space, and hopefully it should work out. I don't actually know. I haven't tested that yet. This is kind of the live test of the series, and we hope that it doesn't break, as that would suck for everybody watching. But yes. Oh, and GUI. I think I forgot to mention some things about that. I was answering the texture stuff and then hopped on to compatibility and the like. So I use Rimhub, which is pretty standard for a lot of people, as my I'm not really sure. Well, it's a UI mod. I don't know if it classifies as a GUI. I think it does, just from my research and looking online. I'm pretty sure GUI and UI are similar enough to where. Anyways, I use Rimhub for mine, and I think there was one other one in here. though I'm not... there's rim saves, but that's for when you're loading, as well as better loading screens. Saving and loading, sorry. Let's see, and I think... that might be it. Possibly it. Oh, and one other thing to point out while I'm still here. You don't necessarily need time-lapse 2023. I only have it in here as I'd kind of like to see a time-lapse of how the base evolved throughout the course of the series. So, that's not necessarily required. I don't think Rimply also works. Don't believe so. I'm looking into potentially getting a different mod manager mod since, well, the aforementioned mod manager, it doesn't work for 1.5 or doesn't do what it's used to do in the past. So that one might also change. Don't necessarily need that or time lapse. Character editor, I would highly recommend that over. Oh, what's the other one? Well, I forget what the other one is called because I haven't used it for so long, but I would highly recommend Character Editor, as if you want to, you can load in pawns directly into your map. That's actually how I made the, that's how I made part of the intro sequence, was I saved both the characters from a point in time, and then loaded it into a new world with a ship on it, and from there, just did the intro-outro. Or sorry, the intro bit. So, character editor, I believe, is far more useful, and from what I've seen on a couple of videos, is less taxing on the game, as well as just much smoother than Prepared Carefully. That's the one I was thinking of. So, I highly recommend using Character Editor instead of Prepared Carefully. But if you still want to use Prepared Carefully, just sub out Character Editor for Prepared Carefully, and well, if that's what you like, that's what you like. The other thing you can take out if you want are some of the music mods. I had this music mod in here just for added music. That's, you know, background music. It's nice, it's not necessary. Same with the progression mods. I'm playtesting these to see how they work, but you don't necessarily need to have them in there. I've got something that I might use these for something big in the future, but not necessarily needed. I think a good chunk of some of the patches here you don't necessarily need. Anyways, I think that about covers everything I want to discuss for here. If I've missed anything, I'm sure I'll leave a pinned comment, or if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask away in the comments sections. I'm always willing to answer them. As well as if you can comment on the collections, feel free to do so. I'll try to answer them as best as I can. If I can't, I'll point you in the direction of where I'm hoping is the answer, though might not be 100% certain. Anyways, I think that's going to do for now. Hopefully everything here makes sense. And yeah, thanks for tuning in to this little, I guess, update. It's a pack update, technically. And by the time you're seeing this, page should be up. So, till that time comes, take it easy.